Welcome back. Kind of teased it in our Knock at the Cabin review. Here is our personal rankings of the M Night Shyamalan movies.
I think there are two movies that are like way at the bottom. I honestly could see it as a coin toss. What are you thinking?
Number 14, I would go with Avatar: The Last Airbender, I think. Or The Happening, I feel like is the coin flip you were mentioning, or no?
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Should make things juicy. To me, it's a coin toss between The Last Airbender, not Avatar: The Last Airbender. They dropped the Avatar because it came out 7 months after Avatar. Yeah, good call. The movie still made money, believe it or not, and After Earth. On one hand, I sat through all of The Last Airbender and I just felt my soul exit my body. I haven't seen it since. This was over 10 years ago. And I just thought it was ghastly. And I don't know why he made it. His fingerprints aren't on it. And for similar reasons, the other one, I didn't even finish it.
Personally, I have After Earth squeaky little bitty tiny thing above The Happening and Last Airbender, just because I think the visuals are still pretty cool for what they are.
Yeah.
You've got some interesting creatures. You've got an interesting kind of father-son thing on a planet, but it's not interesting enough to make me want to ever watch it again, really.
That's just it.
I definitely do not like this movie, but I do think just in the Will Smith screen presence, even though he kind of stays back on the ship the whole time and it's just Jaden Smith,
it's a waste.
I get it.
You're wrong!
If I'm comparing it with Avatar, which has nobody that has any screen presence at all, and then The Happening, which is like, there are people in this movie, but their screen presence is making you laugh because it's just absolutely stupid.
What? No.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll do Last Airbender in 14.
I don't think, did any of you guys like the movie? No! Yeah, they didn't like it.
I watched The Happening around the time of Old. Make no mistake, it is awful. This was still the time where he was relying on the twist. He reveals the twist at about the 40-minute mark, and it's plants. The rest of the movie is just people running from wind and killing themselves. What a sentence. However, I think this movie is kind of hilarious. That doesn't mean it's good, but I get more of a laugh. I guess maybe I should have revisited After Earth myself, but I watched that movie maybe an hour. I was bored out of my skull. It's like nothing.
It's not good. I do think that it's fair to put After Earth here in terms of rewatchability.
Okay.
You could throw on The Happening with some buddies and drink a couple beers and be like, hey, there's this Mark Wahlberg movie where the wind kills people. You gotta watch it. It's so stupid.
What? No.
Say hi to your mother for me, okay?
Number 12. This is where I would place Wide Awake.
I have not seen Wide Awake. I would imagine it's better than The Happening, but I'll take your word for it because The Happening does have a rewatchability factor and not many people really know Wide Awake exists.
Literally it. I watched Wide Awake sometime. I don't know. I was pretty drunk, but I was like, this is corny AF. It's part of the reason why I don't really watch faith-based movies, because I don't want to make fun of them and go to hell. It's not in last place.
I will probably check it out eventually. So I understand the placement here below The Happening. 11,
The Happening. It's happening. Except nothing really happened. Except
everybody's just running against the wind.
Against the wind.
Yeah,
Bob Seger.
Essentially the film.
We were running against the wind.
It literally is.
People don't know this, but that song is actually about the movie.
What? No.
Like, the song inspired the film. Number 10, Lady in the Water.
This is the one I wanted to revisit. I have not seen this movie in 17 years. I just remember it was complete nonsense. That's about it.
I could see myself maybe bumping the rating up if I rewatched it, but at the same time, I don't remember liking this movie at all. All these movies that are on this list as of now, I think I have like very, very low ratings to them. 2 out of 10 kind of tier like
They're
that.
pretty garbo.
And I love M Night Shyamalan, but yeah, these 4 I do squarely have in that. These are tough to sit through, and I don't really love it on any real level other than maybe watching The Happening and drinking some beers with people. The movie is a mishmash of stuff, and Bryce Dallas Howard wasn't really ready to be the lead, I don't think, at that time.
The Village is like her first movie.
She wasn't ready to be the lead.
I feel like she's pretty much, like, much of that movie is on her shoulders. We'll get there.
Well, she wasn't ready to play a mermaid, and she maybe never will be.
I guess so.
They passed her over for the Disney remake, so she will not get her chance.
Oh,
Way. She probably wasn't up for consideration.
I wouldn't think so. But I like her, though.
She has red hair, though.
Yeah.
Fair
Fits. Yeah.
You would have thought she would have been up for it. But,
Yeah.
missed out. We'll probably get a little off the rails here, maybe with. There's probably like 5 in a row that we could put anywhere. But for me, and number 9, I have Old.
I'm in the minority. I have that a little higher. My 9 would be Glass.
I could see it. That's probably more of a consensus 9. I did like it. I gave it like a 6 out of 10 mostly just because my anticipation for it was so high that I kept telling myself that I liked the interplay with a couple of the characters and concepts. I thought was interesting enough, but the execution wasn't necessarily the greatest. But it's still, at the end of the day, it's Sam Jackson, Bruce Willis, James McAvoy killing it again. It's still them 3 coming on screen as in a superhero battle that's different than studio stuff kind of thing. It's Shyamalan's creation. So it was interesting on that level, but yeah, I do get the not great love for it.
You are probably right, is the thing. Even though I kind of like Old, there is stuff in that movie where it's hurting my ears. There is a character in Old named Midsize Sedan.
What's your name?
Midsize Sedan.
Yeah, which is f***ing hilarious, and I don't care. The thing about Glass, I remember sitting there for the first 90 minutes and actually being into it. By the time it ended, I just felt icky and cheated. There's a reading of it where you could say that it's like M Night's giant FU to comic book movies. It's a really interesting, if that's what he was going for, which it kind of, I mean, I can't help but feel like it was, with the way that it's building up to like this giant climax that amounts to nothing besides depressing stuff. I just didn't like. I was like, why did he feel the need to make this?
But I don't feel like he's that cynical. So I feel like that wasn't his intention. I feel like maybe it was more of just like it's set in a realistic world, and these characters are getting up there in age and everything, and so they're not gonna have this big crazy battle like that. They kind of maybe think they're more powerful than they really are.
I mean, yeah, that's what the whole Sarah Paulson character is about. I remember both movies, so that's a testament to him.
The only thing I would say about Old is why I have it here is it is engaging, and you're kind of wondering what's going on the whole time. But like Kristen says, some of the writing is pretty lame. The line deliveries are pretty lame a lot of the time. Like nobody really gives a great performance in this movie at all.
That's the thing that I don't blame them, but like he's got a lot of really talented people.
Alex Wolff, I think, comes the closest to giving a good performance in this movie because he's just good. By the time they get to the end of it, and it's like, hell, I gotta have a twist here. And I know it's based off a comic, so maybe it was already imperative to put this in. But it just comes across as like, dude, why put this in? It's sort of interesting where it's like, oh, it's where they were there the whole time, but it's more of just like, it takes you out of it.
He doesn't wrap the greatest bow on Old. I found the ideas in that movie so compelling that I ultimately went with it, even though I went with it with a smirk. Like, I thought the stuff that he did in that movie was so nutty, and I was like, damn, this is pushing the boundaries for PG-13. However, feels like a first draft. I'll bargain with you. We can put Old in 9th.
And then I'm comfortable putting Glass at 8 if you want.
That's fine. Seems fair, because Old isn't good, but I would buy it if it was like $4.
And that's an endorsement if I've ever heard one. All right. Number 7, The Village.
I just remember I went to see The Village nearly 20 years ago. I was disappointed. I didn't revisit it until this past weekend. It's not bad. Like, there's good stuff in there.
Yeah, I definitely want to rewatch it because I've heard that it's got a pretty big following amongst certain circles. And then also there's some circles where it's like, yeah, that ending just doesn't work. I probably watched it pretty early on in my film enthusiasm. It's still in the peak era of Shyamalan where he's got the visual style down and he's able to be confident in his filmmaking. It just didn't really work out. But it's still got Joaquin Phoenix in it. And it's
the cast is unbelievable.
Yeah.
I was watching, I was like, Sigourney Weaver? Judy Greer? Jesse Eisenberg? The Village is a movie with a twist that didn't need a twist. And it would have been so much better if he had just not but he did. So
I remember the stuff in Scary Movie 4 a little bit more sometimes.
oh my,
In the Village, but that's just how long it's been stuffed in the
It's
Village.
fair.
But they have a very funny joke where she takes a dump in the church.
I'm not in my house, am I?
No.
Just must-see film. Check it out. It's been available for quite some time. Number 6, The Visit. The Visit came out at a time where Shyamalan's reputation was kind of going down a little bit, and a lot of people were like wondering, is he gonna come back and be the guy we wanted? And then it came out, and it's like, that was a good movie. It wasn't the greatest thing anyone's ever seen, but I remember watching it and being invested in the whole time. And then when the twist happens, I'm like, shut up. I didn't think of that the entire time, like an absolute moron. And it's the simplest thing, but it's like absolutely brilliant. It's hilarious, chaotic movie. And it's just kind of sort of a pseudo parody, a little bit of some of the Blumhouse kind of stuff, where it takes the old people and makes them the villain. And it's kind of hilarious because it's just like, go to your grandma's house, and then it's like, hey, horror movie ensues.
Shyamalan makes The Village, Lady in the Water, The Happening, The Last Airbender, and After Earth back to back. Like, to back. At least 4 of those are, like, pretty tough. The Visit wasn't quite a return to form, but I like it. The twist in that movie, like you just described, is like, damn it.
And it's got one of the coolest little dudes in the world in the movie.
What happened to that guy?
I don't know, but he was a
raps.
fun time. And they have the scariest game of Yahtzee ever. It's just, it's a film.
I had the image of the grandma screaming Yahtzee.
This 5 and 4 spot, I think, is one of the toughest spots in this entire list.
Yeah.
Because I genuinely like both these movies quite a bit for what they are. Split, I could easily see myself switching that up. I literally just saw Knock at the Cabin.
I revisited Split a couple weeks ago, and it's a good movie. Like, it's rock solid. I will say, I lose slight interest whenever he starts turning into the beast, as dumb as that sounds. I'm more into it whenever it's just
psychological.
When it's just McAvoy getting to, like, cook. But there's no denying that ending.
Yeah, I really do maybe want to argue with myself because Knock at the Cabin is good, and it's, I think, a better crafted movie at times. The ending to Split is one of the most iconic things in the last decade, as crazy as it sounds.
Yeah.
Because of his many personalities, he is being called the Horde.
This is like that crazy guy in the wheelchair that they put away 15 years ago. And he gave him a funny name, too. What was it?
Mr. Glass.
And if they knew, you're like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Who would have thought to even do that? Like,
Never
only
saw
M
it
Night
coming.
Shyamalan. So honestly, right now, I think I want to put Knock at the Cabin at 5.
You want to do that at 5?
Just because there's an emotional rush. The ending of Split, which
there's
I don't know.
No denying that. When that reveal happened, I literally had no idea. And it was one of those, like, if you know, you know kind of deals. Unbreakable, that came out like 17 years before that. Shyamalan devotees either knew what was happening and were excited, or other people were just probably like,
that's Bruce Willis.
What's that? What's Bruce Willis doing there? But it was an amazing reveal that ultimately led to a bummer of a movie.
Yeah,
but,
so I understand that.
But
the fact that it lit the glass, I get it.
If they had just left it there, like, holy shit.
Part of the excitement was the promise
that
it was
that
going
he
to
was
give
gonna,
you. But like, so I get it on that. Maybe it affects the rewatchability, but I don't know. For now, I kind of just want to see other people's opinions of Knock at the Cabin.
I got you. I thought it was a really good movie, and mostly maybe because of the filmmaking.
Yeah.
But like, Split is also that movie rips. Like, it's good.
And then number 3, Unbreakable.
This is where I would put The Sixth Sense. But I could be just that asshole.
He's an asshole.
I don't know, because for a lot of people, this is number one. If I had come to that movie blind, I imagine sitting there in 1999 seeing it and just like the seas parting when that reveal. It's unbelievable, and I can't take that away from him.
But even then, without the twist, it's still a 10
damn
out of 10
good.
masterpiece.
I know,
Like,
but
Haley Joel Osment gives like one of the best performances ever as a kid.
He
And it's like
does.
Toni Collette's Hereditary before Hereditary.
Mhm.
It's just a great movie. The Bruce Willis character they handle very well. There's some insane horror imagery from it, and it's not necessarily a horror movie, but it still brings that. Like I remember watching it as a kid and being like, when they're going to school and just thinking, oh my gosh, like this is the scariest shit I've ever seen. And especially the character that poisons the kid. That whole thing is some of the most messed up stuff in a movie ever.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It is the one that introduced us to him properly.
Yeah, and maybe it's holding him back by throwing that at the top, which is where I would put it. But I think it's completely fair.
Oh, your Sixth Sense number one?
And
Okay.
I love Signs too, so we're just going to put it all out in the open. But yeah, I love Signs.
Bloody hell.
Just
That's
in terms
your
of what it
number
means,
one.
in terms of the film and everything, I do think I would have Sixth Sense at the top.
Okay, what if we do Unbreakable at 3? I just really love the vibe of that movie. I just dig
Yeah, Unbreakable is awesome.
It's amazing. And then The Sixth Sense at 2.
I mean, we could, but I'd also feel like they're a little bit stupid about it.
It
because
is.
It's like everybody in the comments would probably just be like, well, The Sixth Sense is number one, because it is.
I think those
But like, I do love
those
Signs,
three are kind of unassailable.
I know.
It's tough.
I do really love Signs. And even though a lot of people were just focused on the aliens opening doors and blah, blah, blah.
People could watch this video and be like, what is that dumb talking about?
No,
with
I'm
Signs?
not worried about that at all.
Uh,
I think Signs is 10 out of 10. I don't care.
I just
But,
love
like, I'm just
that
saying,
movie.
Yeah.
I
I'm just
think-
saying if I had to pick one,
Mhm.
I think it would be hard to argue that Signs is better necessarily, even though I do like more of a personal movie too. That's why I can see that take. Anyway, they're both 10 out of 10 absolutely bangers, and I'm completely fine putting Signs at 1 if we want to. But at the same time, I do know that there's an aura of like, is that really? Are we just saying it to say it?
The thing about Signs to me, when I saw that movie at the young age of, 6? Fucking terrified. Because I lived right by a cornfield. The score of that movie, it does not get enough praise. It does a lot of the work, but also so does his filmmaking, and so did the performances. But you could also say that about The Sixth Sense and
both.
Unbreakable.
Yeah. We haven't talked too much about Unbreakable here, but also we've talked about Glass and Split a little bit, so that's kind of overlapped a couple things, but nothing crazy. But I do want to give it Unbreakable some love because like that movie is amazing too.
It's
but
so
I do think it is a knock a little bit below Signs and Sixth Sense. But yeah, it's awesome like what they do with the superhero genre and everything, what they do with the twist at the end, Samuel Jackson's performance, Bruce Willis, Robin Wright, like the whole the train stuff and everything, just the cinematography of it and everything, it just puts you right there.
It's a
The
knockout.
score is amazing. That's why Split at the end was so good because you just kind of get back in the groove of that score.
Yeah.
You're just like, holy shit, the man went and did it. But yeah, I'll be fine with Sixth Sense at 2 and then put Signs at 1. Give Signs a little extra bump.
Yes.
Get 3 more people to watch it.
That's what I'm going for right there.
Those are 3 incredible movies. And that's why we look forward to every new M Night Shyamalan movie.
Exactly.
We know the guy has it. And I do think Knock at the Cabin really showcases that the man still has it. Still very young for a director.
Hey Siri, how old is M Night Shyamalan?
M. Night Shyamalan is 52 years old.
Yeah, sometimes that's a director's sweet spot. He's one of those guys I will continue to root for. Hopefully you enjoyed our list. Here's my full personal list, and here's Christian's full personal list on the side. Let us know what your personal lists are, what you think about certain ones of his movies, what's your favorite M. Night Shyamalan movie. If you enjoyed this video, give this a like. We'll be doing more list stuff in the future probably. Subscribe to the channel to get notifications for those in the future, or to go back in time and see our other lists and that sort of thing. So that was a movie. We'll see you in the next video.